live. I'm like talking about water because Leah just asked me if I had water, which I do. It's just not clean water.
What?
I know. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my gosh, welcome to, I don't even know what this is. It's Monday. It's Monday, June 5th. And this morning, Leah and I were in a work session, and days when there's just lots of feels and you're not exactly sure what all the feels are, but you just know you feel them. Today's one of those days. I think it's probably out there big in the collective if I can sense that and feel that. I had thoughts this morning of it's okay. It's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to, feel like you're wandering or you're lost or confused, dazed, all the things we don't like to feel. Um, or that we don't like to experience, and it's okay. And as Lee and I were having our conversations, it just honestly there was a lot of emotion and just recognition that how much we don't like to feel emotion. We don't like it when it comes out our eyeballs and when it messes up our voice and it hangs in our throats, and we're just not fans of that. And the reality is, and this is part of what I love about our some of our conversations, is the reminder that it's okay. It's okay to feel all of those things and that there's a purpose. It's healing. This morning I said, can you imagine if we like that stuff couldn't leak out of our eyes and our noses and we just had to hold it all in? Like what that could feel like? It would be horrible.
Well, just think of the bloat.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
no release to it. Think of a pressure cooker. Like you hold on to all this stuff for so long, and then you need some sort of outlet. And it's so easy to put on the brave face and I'm okay, and I don't have time for this, and I've got to do this, and just that drive to be productive. I said to Jen this morning, she's like, what's your judgment of this? And I'm like, because I don't feel productive. I feel like it's just a waste. And I know the truth of that, but it's our conditioning, it's our stories, it's our culture, it's all those things that tell us like it's not okay to just release and just to feel the things out. We have to suppress them. We have to put them aside and not have time for them when really they need space to be seen and felt out. And at one point I said to Jen, why don't we just do painting? Because it's, I know for me, and maybe it is for you, or something that you can explore, something that can help soothe the turmoil that we can feel sometimes inside, or calm the chatter. I know it really helps not divert focus, but just give, it's not even a focus thing. It's more
Yeah.
an allowing,
Yeah.
and allowing emotion to move through my hand and through, in this case, a paintbrush, and be fascinated with that process, and let feelings flow that way.
Well, and it takes focus. It takes the focus off of whatever thing is, got your dander up or is creating havoc in your mind or havoc in your heart. And it just allows it allows that to just like spread out and dissipate in a way that's not so crunchy and maybe painful. I don't know. And it's okay to feel the painful things. It's just I like that the painting or the going on a walk, or sometimes it's even just turning on something that smells good. Maybe you've got a essential oils or things that you can stick in the air, or you turn on music, that it just starts to dissipate and spread out the emotion, and so that we can actually see it more clearly and maybe have an understanding of it. So this morning when it kind of caught me off guard, actually I was like, oh, like right now you want to paint right now? But did you notice I didn't have a freak out? I said, yeah, let's do it.
I did notice that. Like, you want to do this? Like, okay,
I know. I was
that
like,
works.
Are you talking about right now?" And she's like, "Yeah, I am." I was like, "Okay, okay, we're gonna do this." Um, before we came live, I asked Leah a question because if you stick with us long enough, or you order her book, Living with Dirty Glasses, she tells a story of being in her teen years and having someone put a tray of watercolors in front of her. And I asked her before, I said, before that moment, like, did you do art? Did you, like, was this part of what you did? And she told me no. And I thought, wow, what an incredible thing. And it makes me wonder if that person had foresight, had a knowing, could see something in you that maybe you couldn't, or if it was just really part of a therapy to just get you moving. But like what has come from those moments is what I look at it and I'm astounded and I'm amazed and I just think it's so cool. And I'm bringing that up because that can happen for any of us. That this thing that we use as a therapy or as for me it was running as a runaway can actually take us right on into some of the bigger parts of our lives. And so I think that's part of why today I was like, okay, cool, let's go paint.
I love that you bring up the running and therapy, and I think that's the thing of it right there is the movement. It's whether it's your body moving, when you're running, or you're moving through in your pains. It's a different way to express that emotion instead of sitting in it. Not that that's a bad thing, but movement helps us process a little differently and feel things out. Like, I think we were talking about this on the weekend, how animals, when they're in a stressful situation, they'll buck and they'll jump and they'll do these erratic movements to move that tension out of their bodies. And somewhere along our history, we've forgotten how to do that in healthy, natural ways. So I just feel like that's a really great reminder. And I will say to you too, that paint with the therapist, that was like like just a very small time. I did the paints maybe for a week or two, and then I forgot it again. And I didn't pick them up until about 10 years ago. But I remember how it brought me back to that feeling. And whether it's you're starting at zero, and not zero, but just starting to experience and practice with these paints. Like, you can start wherever you are. You don't need all this instruction. Just let it come through you, and allow that process to unfold, and not judge it. And that's so hard. That's just so hard
it,
sometimes to not judge it.
it absolutely can be, especially for those of us who grew up with perfectionistic tendencies or were taught that. And that stuff, that's challenging to let go of. I don't even know what that is. um I was just thinking about those who are new to Righteous Rebels. Like, if this is one of the first times that you're observing us, hey, we're part of the Righteous Rebels. We are the Righteous Rebels. We run a company called the Righteous Rebels. Um, and if you're unfamiliar, head on over. Or you haven't joined our Facebook group, head on over to the Righteous Rebels on Facebook. Click the button. We'll let you in. Some of you may be seeing this on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and we just welcome you. And just a quick overview is really we're about assisting you in coming home to yourself. We're so conditioned with all the things of the world and looking outside of ourselves for answers and for things that we think are right for us when everything we need to know is inside of us. Part of what we do is help you build a trail guide back to yourselves by recognizing the experiences that you've already had and maybe how to move forward on, in your world. We're not here to tell you how to do it or tell you the right way to do it. We're here to just guide you and give you some ideas of things that work. either for us or for other people, and to really help you um, have an understanding and trust in yourself and how to hear your own heart and your own voice and how to move forward in your world in those spaces. Part of how we do it is through creativity and play and adventure. So we're creating the ways for you to actually move your physical body, but in fun ways, so that you're getting the healing and the opportunity to move forward while getting past the guardians of the mind and the things that stop you. Uh, we're going to help you just take fear for a ride. So go over to our page. We have a really amazing adventure coming up in August that for our female friends, and you want to be on that trip. But for now, let's get into some art.
Sounds good. So I had dragonflies on my mind this morning, and when we were coming on and prepping to do this, and so I looked up like what's the symbolism of that. So when I look at it, it's all dragonflies are all about change and transformation, adaptability, a joy, lightness of being, a symbol of in the realm of emotions.
What?
Right. And I love that you shared, Jen, that dragonflies are like fairies for you. And um, tell us why dragonflies are like fairies.
Oh my gosh. I think that actually started when my kids were young. We had some friends with a couple of girls that were their age, my kids' age, and it was we really tried to create magical worlds and experiences for them, when especially while we were out camping and doing things like that, where things like dragonflies could be seen. And we talked about them being fairies, and it just has stuck. And I see them now, and it brings out this like childlike nature in myself, which honestly isn't hard to do. But I get excited, and I watch them, and I watch how they land, and I watch how they move, and how they just kind of flit around. It's a magical thing for me, and it's just fun to think of them as fairies. And um, I just I don't know. I love watching him. There was this one time we were kayaking at a lake, a reservoir near us, and there were hundreds just like flying around this parking lot on this lake, and it was almost like being in a movie. Just like everywhere I looked, there was a dragonfly, and you just hope like that they land on you, which they would land on my sandals. It was so cool, and I don't know. It just makes me happy.
I love it. Thanks for sharing. I just love that. So to do this, if you want to join in, I'm going to invite you to have a pencil, or if you have like a watercolor pencil crayon, that can work too. And then paintbrushes, whatever you have. And we'll just kind of work through it. Some watercolor paper, about 140-pound cold press is what I'm using here today. And with that, I'm going to switch some water and watercolors, whatever you have, and start where you are. Oh, and then I have the dogs. Can you just give me a second? Sorry.
I love the piece where the reminder to start where you are. I know so often, um, when we're starting a project, all the comparison stuff comes in, and we think we have to have the newest and the latest and the fanciest, and or maybe not even that, but something close to it. And when I started the watercolors, I intentionally went to Walmart and bought the cheapest set of watercolor. It was probably like $2, just so that I could have the experience of starting where I'm at. And getting into some of this stuff, it can be spendy. And so I just appreciate that Leah is reminding us to start where we are. Go get a $2 set from Walmart. And and for me, it was about recognizing what a $2 set can do. And then as was able to start upgrading and getting different brushes, and I was gifted a beautiful brush, the difference, you can start seeing the difference in your strokes and how equipment actually can make a difference. Um, and really gaining the appreciation of your growing skills, and then how they meld into to the different kinds of equipment and brushes and paints, and there's so much you can get into. So, Leah, thank you for the reminder to start where we're at.
So sorry. I had someone come in the driveway, and my big guard dogs had to let them know who's boss. So I apologize for that.
No, that's called real life.
Right? Oh my God. The door's open. Okay, that's gonna be okay. I'm gonna switch her over. I remembered to take my page down today. And so just first we're gonna breathe, because I need to breathe. I just need to breathe a second. Okay. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but find the general middle of your page. And you don't want it right at the top, not right to the bottom, but somewhere in the middle of the middle. You're just going to draw a line down. And just keep your markings light, because you're going to go over with watercolor. This is a watercolor pencil, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you have a regular pencil, if you press down too hard, you're gonna see it through your watercolor, which it's totally fine too. So I'm doing this in the middle, and leaving about just some white space here. And then we'll just start with the dragonfly. It's got the big eyes here. Can you see all right, Jen?
Nope.
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 Is that difficult to see?
Yeah, well, it is for me. I don't. Maybe I just need glasses. I don't know.
So I'm just making the eyes.
Okay.
Is it blurry?
It's just small. It's just not close to the camera. I can see him.
Okay. So then it's got like a bit of a body shape just under the head. And then it's got a bit of just kind of go down. It doesn't have to be perfect, and you can always adjust it with your actual paints as you go, and you're just making a couple shapes. So I've made an oval here, a long oval, and then more of a long oval for the tail, I guess you would call it. And then the wings come out about halfway, the first set anyways, come out about halfway through the first oval, just under the head. So then your wings, they're not perfectly straight. They have a bit of a bend, and then they come out. And it's okay. It's just okay. I've never done this live like this, so this is very, very new for me too. I usually have my ugly drawings in private, so this is fun to get to do it live with all of you and be a beginner in my own way. So I'm going to do the same kind of thing on the other side. And again, once you get your paints on there, it's going to look different. And I'm just trying to remind myself of my own internal freakouts of, oh my gosh, this doesn't look right, and I'm not happy with how it's coming out. So just know that's totally normal, no matter where you are in your creative journey, or your life journey for that matter. Like, I think we just have this idea other people have it far more figured out than they actually do sometimes. So I'm going to go for the second set of wings. How you doing, Jen?
Oh, I'm great.
I love it. Something like that. And they come out a little bit overlap from the top ones. And then they come out. So this is definitely not the stress releasing part of it for me. I'm not a super comfortable drawer. So I'm gonna just start doing the arms. I find when I do painting and when I'm engaged in that space that I do far better when I use the lines more as a guideline than like rigid, this is how it's going to look. It's more just to give me a sense of where things go. And it often changes from the original drawing. So I'm just going to let that be what it is. It looks funny to me, but that's okay. How are you doing with the drawing part?
Lovely.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm just going with it.
Just going with it. Okay. Are you ready to start putting paint on it, or do you need a minute?
Whoa, I need my screen to stop going black. Did you? No, never mind. It doesn't matter. I can do this on my own.
Well, if you have a question, maybe someone else might have the same kind
No,
of
I
question.
was just seeing where it's like, now this is my mind saying I have to do it just like you do it. So wondering because I can't see where the other legs are. Just I was just curious where you stuck the lower ones. And do they have 4 or 6?
I believe it's 6. So the other one is kind of underneath the wings and they don't really show. They're right like in here. Okay. But it doesn't, it's okay. So now I'm going to take where's my brush? I'm going to take my larger brush because I can't find my other brush. Oh, there it is. Take my mid-sized brush and I'm going to just start with the body. I'm not going to put too much water. I don't want it soaking wet. And I'm just going to wet where the body. I'm going to start there and just lay some water down on it. I'm going to do it green. You can do it whatever color you want.
So, okay, oh, hello.
What happened?
Oh, I just have blue water.
Oh, then I guess it'll be. So is it coming up blue on your page?
That's okay. I was going to do it blue anyway.
Okay, well, there you go. So I'm going to do the body more, I'd say, earth tones. And then my wings, I'm going to go for like purples and blues. So I put my water down first, and then I just kind of went around the outside. And I did that on purpose so I can go in with a different color on the inside. And then I'll do this like cool marbling. So I've taken a different shade of green and I'm just dropping it in different spots along the body of the dragonfly. Just like that. And see, I stopped the body a little bit sooner than I did on my drawing. I can always just erase that if I'm not feeling it. It's whatever it comes out at, it's okay. My camera's wanting to adjust and be funny. I'm not sure why.
Do you have a dog in the house?
I do. I brought him in so he wouldn't be barking his full head off.
I thought I could just hear panting. I'm like, what the?
That's my boy Zeus.
Hello, Zeus.
Yeah, he's my big bad guard dog. He is like the friendliest, most loving dog. But if you come in here as a foreign vehicle and he just goes after tires like it's nobody's business, he's going to take you out at the tires. This dog.
I'm glad I didn't come in on tires when I came to visit.
Yeah. But when people actually get out of their cars, like he's just a big suck. I don't know. He has a thing for tires. I'm going fun blue with the eyes. I'm doing the same kind of thing with the dark and the light. So on one side, I just went with a lighter blue, and then I'm going to go in with a darker. And I'll give it a neat effect because the water is going to move it and blend it differently. I think that's part of what I just love about watercolors is you kind of have an idea of what, well, I do anyways, I'm sure.
I'm like, no, I don't.
You kind of have this idea of what it might come out as, and then the water just kind of does its own thing. And, you know, I really just try to move with paints on feel. Because right now I'm getting this, like, maybe it's going to be like a zebra-ish dragonfly. So I'm going to put in these cute little lines, and it's so kind of want to blend it in with the green a little differently. But as the tail goes down, I'm going to put them a little closer together. How you doing, Jen?
Lovely.
Lovely.
I'm making a beautiful mess.
I love it. Beautiful messes are essential. There's beauty in the mess, 100%.
I agree.
And I think that's one of the challenging, because we want to know. Oh, that's what it was. We were talking about not knowing and just how challenging that can feel. You want the answers, you want to know the path, and just that beautiful reminder of there's so much value in not knowing. It's giving you a space to create from, and or just be in a place of allowing answers to unfold as they're ready to, and not trying to rush that process. And just because, you know, you feel like you got to know, you got to have the answers, you got to all the things. And it's just it's not an easily feeling place, but, or an easy place to feel in or feel comfortable in, maybe is what I'm trying to say there.
Okay, what are you doing now?
I just went around the head. So I did eyes, and then I went in with like a dark yellow just to do the rest of the head around the eyes and the little mouthpiece. And then just to bring all the colors together, I'm just putting little drops of that in the body. So there's like, what's that called? Not consistency, but that the colors are flowing throughout it. A shorter version of that is I'm just flowing, Jen.
I was like, I don't know what you've done. I can kind of see it. I'm like, wait, we had to draw a head?
I found this thing about dragonflies. I'll just read it while you're where I put it.
Well, I'm figuring out how to bring all the colors together. Cool.
We're all just figuring it out, Jen. We're all just figuring it out.
I know, it's okay. I'm just speaking my thoughts.
So it says, dragonflies are the keepers of dreams, the energy within that sees all of our true potential and ability. Dragonflies inspire spirituality and creativity. They help us on the path of discovery and enlightenment. They remind us that anything is possible.
Ooh, see? Fairies.
Right? They're just hopeful, magical little creatures. And I love how they just they hover and they just how they move. They zip here and they zip there, and it's just so fascinating to watch them. It reminds me of like seeing them when we would go camping as kids. We'd go on a canoe down they had like a little stream there, and they would just fly all around. And I just loved how they hovered just above the lily pads. That was
Right?
so cool.
Their wings, like when they slow down and they stop and you can actually observe their wings. Oh my gosh. It is the webbing and the how everything's connected and it's awe-inspiring.
There's a what's that called? Luminescence
Mm-hmm.
to their wings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They're so cool. And something you can do, like once this dries, if you want to add that kind of webbing with like a gel pen. I think you had those cool gel pens. I can't remember. Sizzle pops.
Right? The jazz pop pens.
Jazz pop. I know it was pop something. Are you ready for the wings?
I think so.
Okay. For this one, I'm going to take a bigger brush if you have it. If not, a smaller one is fine. I'm going to wet my brush, but not soak my page. And then again, just dropping in the water first. You can go with your watercolor first, like with the actual color. I just kind of love how the colors mix when the water's already on the page and they bloom into each other. And I just feel like in this dragonfly stuff that it would be cool to get that luminescence feel. I'm just going to do the top two for the moment. And then I'm going to take my lightest color, which is going to be the blue, and just kind of do oh, that's so cool. Just do the edges for now. And I'm going to match it over here. I'm just going along the bottom edge. You can do whatever edge you'd like, or you can just do the whole thing, whatever feels right for you. I think that's why I've just always kind of been hesitant about teaching, because I teach on instinct. I paint on instinct over finding, proper techniques maybe. I just found it challenging sometimes when you watch people's videos, and I couldn't do the same thing. But if I allowed myself to kind of experiment with a technique, then I would find a different way of doing it that would give me the same kind of result, which I found pretty neat. So I've decided this pinky purple is going to be along the top. So I'm just following the ridge along the top. And I'm going to leave the centers just as they are, just to keep the kind of see-through-y effect that their wings have. I've got a bit of a puddle, but that's going to be okay. I'm going to go a little darker for the bottom wings. Oh. Again, I'm going to wet it first. Oh, okay.
Ooh, there. Now it bloomed. Like, that was freaky awesome. Waiting for that. Finally just did it.
That's awesome. I love that. That's exciting for you.
Dang.
I'm excited to see it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm just going around the edges of where I dropped in the water. And then I'm feeling like purple for the bottom. goodness. I'm out of my purple. Amazing.
I think sometimes I don't know if I'm hesitant or just the learning phase of like how much water to actually put on so that it does the thing. I think maybe sometimes I'm not generous enough with the water.
And I find I'm a little too generous with the water. And it's just, as you go, it's going to come, the more you practice it, you'll figure that piece out. Oof, definitely getting some blooming there, but that's okay. It's kind of neat. But I'm not loving the purple in the top, so I'm just going to dab it with a Kleenex. Kind of slow that down a bit. Since I have the purple and...
What do you mean slow that down a bit? Explain that.
So here, I had a bit of a puddle in the top wing. So when I put water in the bottom wing and then I dropped the color in, I had the purple going into the top.
Gotcha.
It was all the purple was going into the top wing, and it's not what I wanted for it. And even feeling like this purple is overpowering for the softness of the other one. So I'm just going to dab some of that with just a tissue and soften that. You can do that too if you get, if it's a little bit drier, just with a wet brush. Kind of, no, mine's too wet, so I'm not going to do that. But I am going to, I have some water and purple on this brush, and I'm just going to flick some paint around. You don't have to do it this part. I just like the effect of it. I'm going to take another color I used, which is this light blue, and do the same kind of thing. Just little splatters. Joyful little splatters. And some of them got on my wings, and that's okay. I'm not a fan. I can spread it and move it around because it went very purpley all of a sudden. So what's going through your head this time through, Jen?
I honestly am just trying to be present with like how it's moving with the water versus like what yours looks like and what mine looks like. It's fascinating how you can change the amounts of color with like either you can scoop up water with a dryer brush, you can make it move more by adding more water. I don't know, it's fascinating.
It is. I think that's part of why I just love watercolors. Like I love, I'm sure you can with enough time and practice, but even, I mean, I've been playing around with these for a while now, and I still can't always predict how it's going to move. And I kind of love that. And, those times where I think I don't have too much water, and then the paper's like, oh, wait, no, I'm not that thirsty, because paper is always a little bit different because it's different trees. And like, you just never know, or it's drier in your house, or it's, more humid, or just all those little factors play into it. And I find that fascinating.
I find it fascinating that the paint I just had on that brush did not want to flick off.
That could be like, I need a little bit more water on my brush. I'm just going in and outlining the wings a little bit. I'll probably leave them as they are. Once it dries a little bit, I use this Sharpie pen to outline, or I'll probably use it for like the legs, or you could just do it with paint. Why don't we try that with paint? I could just do that too. I'll probably use like a purple.
Oh, geez. Well, now I got lots of splatters. Oh my
Love it.
gosh. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to like not have the color fill in the whole thing.
What do you mean?
Like it, and it could be just how I put the water.
Could be. Are you putting it in the middle of it?
I did. Like I think I filled the whole wing.
That's cool. My body is a little dry right here, so I'm just taking a bit of purple and putting some of the little accents. You don't have to. I'm just kind of following some of the natural lines and accentuating them. What happened?
Things are falling.
Things are falling all around. Are you? Do you got a puddle?
No, I was changing the shape of something.
See, and I look at mine and I'm like, one wing looks like a string bean. Just,
A string bean?
like it looks kind of like a bean. I don't know. I'm not loving it, but I'm loving that I showed up anyways and was okay with it being not perfect, and being able to share it with you all wherever you are in your art journey, or your creative journey, and inviting you to be okay with it not being exactly how you picture it in your head. That just comes with time and patience. And I just love the feeling of showing up to it and seeing how I can feel and what things I get to learn in that process. That maybe the wings would have been something I do with just a paintbrush, and let the paintbrush create the shape of it versus trying to follow a line. Or it's just interesting to notice the judgments that we have of whatever we're doing and whatever we're making, and just that it's okay and it's normal and natural. And I think the important part is not to allow it to stop you from continuing to create and
just keep showing up. Just keep showing up. Wow.
So if you joined along in our Facebook page, we have
what Facebook page is that?
That's the Righteous Rebels Facebook page. And on there is an art, show your art post pinned to the top of the page. And we welcome whatever art is to you. If you joined us today or any other day, you're welcome to post on that page and share something that you created, whether it's this or something else, and allow us to celebrate you in how you choose to express yourself and your creativity.
We love to celebrate, so please take us up on that invitation. It feels good. It feels good to be celebrated, and it's okay to be celebrated, and it's okay to want to be celebrated. Because sometimes it's okay to know that what we've done is awesome. And so please take us up on that invitation, because you are awesome. Leah, thanks for the invite to do this today. I'm really trying hard. I feel myself want to go to judgment, but I'm not going to.
Oh, that's awesome. You got
Yeah.
splattered. You did
Oh,
it.
the splatters wouldn't come, and then they just were like, here we are.
Oh, look,
I'm,
I got all this.
oh, yeah. I usually end up with them on my computer. I have a spackled computer, but
Nice.
one thing I'm grateful for today is that I chose a smaller piece of paper to do this on, so that it kept it a little more contained for me.
There you
Oh
go.
my gosh! All right. Wow. We'll see what that looks like when it dries. For those of you again who are new to Jen and Leah and the Righteous Rebels, we just say thank you. Thank you for joining us, and extend an invite to go back and on therighteousrebels.com, also on the Facebook page, but it will be easier on the .com, the website, to go and listen to our various live and unscripteds. We also have some past watercolor stuff that we've done, and there's just lots of good stuff. And we invite you to go and poke around a little and see what you can find, and also share suggestions. What is it that you'd want to know more of, or what do you want to paint? What is your heart calling you to do that we can assist you with? And most of all, know that we love you. We appreciate you, and that we got you.
Yep. Love it.
Love it. She's gonna say love it.
I love it, and I thank you, Jen, for agreeing to do this impromptu. Hey, let's paint and move some of this energy through in a way that can serve someone else watching out there that's going through their own stuff. There's a lot of shifting that's going on in our world and our lives, and
Absolutely.
it's okay to not feel okay. But you don't have to stay there. That there are tools out there and people that have got you and are moving through those things with you too. So just a reminder, you're not alone.
And if you've done this, thank you for the we're not alone, like, because that really is the truth. I know on days it can feel like that, and we're here. And if you can't find anyone in your spaces, we're here, and we invite you to reach out. I also invite you to just share, like, if you've done this exercise with us, and what did you experience in the process? How do you feel? How did you feel when you started? How did you feel, as you were moving through it, and how do you feel at the end? We would love to hear those thoughts. And we invite you to share, because one, it's important to share for yourself, but also you never know what doors you're going to open for someone else to then have the courage to be like, well, wait, if they can do that, then I can say those things too. And so this is an invitation to just share. And just thank you for being a beginner or an intermediate or an expert, wherever you're at, and joining us in those places. Wednesday, let's see, tomorrow is Tuesday Adventure. Gonna take out a cute little family, a mom and her little boys, and we're gonna go hiking, so watch for that. And then on Wednesday, Leah and I are live on Live and Unscripted. You can find that right here, wherever you're watching it. It'll be on LinkedIn, it'll be on YouTube, and it will be here in the Righteous Rebels. So watch for that. And then I believe Thursday, Leah, you doing Creative Thursday?
Yep. Pop in and just talk all things creativity. And Thursday is my favorite day of the week, just because it's not quite Friday. There's that anticipation, and it's past the middle point. So I don't know. Thursdays are magical for me.
I love it. I love it. So we've got good stuff coming up this week. Just thanks again for joining us. Thanks for being who you are and for the magic that you bring to the world. We need you. I need you. And with that, we're just going to end like we always do and say, be bold,
be brave,
be a rebel. We'll see you soon.